Welcome back. In this video we will add Firebase to our project. Firebase is kind of library, so we have to import a library to just connect with our Firebase console. For that, just go to firebase.google.com/docs, and from here you can select get started for Android, and just you can also watch this video, but I'm not going to do that. So first of all, just create a project, and first of all we need to create a project on the Firebase console. For that, just type in firebase.google.com console.firebase.google.com, and it will take you to the Firebase console. So first of all we have to create a project, and then we will link that project to our app. I've already created some projects here, but you won't see anyone when you will go to your console. So I'm going to create a new project here. For that, you need to give it a name. For example, I'm going to give it's going to be for, let's say, for WhatsApp. So I'm going to make it WhatsApp, and then you need to accept the license and create project. Firebase is creating a project for us. Continue, your project is ready, and here we go, our project is created. So here you can select Android, and then you need to give the package name of your app. If you go to your app and just go to manifest file, you will see your package name here. Just copy it and paste it here. Then you can give a nickname, that's totally optional. Also you can give a SHA-1, that's also optional, but I'm going to give that. For that, to get your application SHA-1, you need to go to the right side, and there is a window called Gradle, and from there you need to select the your project root. Just expand it, and just go to the terminal. Let me check how can we get the SHA-1. Leave it for now. For now, I'm not going to give it SHA-1. Later on we'll give it. Now just register your app, and next you will be given a google.json, and first we need to add this library to our build.grader class path. So I'm going to do that. For that, just go to build.gradle project level, and you need to add a class path here, and then just go to module app build.gradle and just select this one, add here, and then at the bottom of this page just add this plugin, apply that plugin, just hit next from here. And sync now your project. We have to add Google JSON file in our project. Just download that by clicking this download button and save it anywhere, and just save it, and just copy this file from here. Go to your project and just switch between to project view from here, and just go to Firebase, and then you need to go to the app module and just select the app and right click and paste on it. So our app Google JSON file is added. So now this will get connected to it. Let this build process complete. It is going to download all the libraries required and make them ready. So our project is ready, and this should have communicated till now. So if just skip this step from here, and now you are going to see your dashboard. So our project is created and it has 3-4 parts. We have got authentication, where we can add our users and authenticate our users, and you can select a sign-in method which you want to use to authenticate your users. And then there is a database part where we can store all of our information. Here you can create a database and you can continue with that. There is a storage option where we can store our images, videos and audios, and there is a hosting also where we can deploy web and mobile apps in second using secure global content delivery networks, which we are not going to do for now. And there are other things you can look at. So for this app, I'm going to authentication. Go to usage, sign in method. Let me check from where we can go to the database and create a new database here for our project, and just create a new database. So from here you need to select start in test mode, because we don't want to authenticate user before any read writing operation, because we are using this for testing purposes. We are not creating any kind of application for now. So we are going to set this start in test mode and enable it. Perfect. Our database is created. Now we need to connect to this database and we need to write some information here. You can find its documentation right here. If I go to the guides and Android, and if I go to real-time database from here and select Android from here and just select get started, it will show us how we can just start with the database. Just copy this library from here. Let me check if we have already added this. No. So just add it here and just sync the project again. And now we can easily connect to our database and write some information in there. This is the code to write some information in the database, and this is the code to get some or read some information from database. What's problem here? Try again. I pressed Alt Enter on it and replace it with the latest version of this one. Let's see what happens. It's taking a bit longer. Perfect. So it has added the required libraries to our project. Now we can switch between Android view, and from here we are going to create a database reference. So I'm going to create Firebase database, and Firebase database is equal to dot get instance, and then we need to create a reference to the database. It's actually database reference, and reference is equal to Firebase database dot get reference, and we can give it path to get reference to some particular portion. Let's say I wanna give it, for example, message. So it will automatically create a message directory here and get reference to that directory. No, I want to push some information there, so I can do that by just having a child, and I can just call a function called push.child. I'm going to have a child, and child value will be, for example, info dot set value, and value could be anything. This is information. So let's run this project. And by the way, this push method automatically creates a new ID, and it will automatically create a child in that ID and sets its value to this information. Let's see what happens here. Let me check it again, and just I'm going for now just setting the value to this reference. I'm not just creating a new key to check why that isn't working. And let's check logs for the previous project. Service not, sorry, we haven't added internet permission. So how can it contact to the online server? So we need to add an internet permission here as well. I think I have to run it again. Let me check if it, no, there is nothing, so I'm going to run it again. Still there is nothing. What's wrong with this? We have done a good job in, but there is something going on with this. Why this is not displaying our information? Maybe it is blocking somewhere. The security rules are not letting the information to be pushed here. Let's just run this project again. So there was a problem that was that we just have selected here from Cloud Firestore. This should be real-time database from here, and just go to rules of it, and you need to make it, I guess, true, and just make it true also, and just publish it. Now if I go to data and just run my app again, as you can see that there is the information coming up. So my mistake that I was wondering why the information is not coming here. So there it was selected Cloud Firestore, and then you need to allow in the rules that you should actually read and write whenever this without authentication for testing purposes. So in this example, what we have done is we have created a reference to message that wasn't existing before, so it automatically created this, and then it sets that value to information. So this is actually the key, and this is the information against that. But what I can do is we can create inside this message category, we can create a key, and then for that key I'm going to create another child, and that child is, for example, key. I'm going to name it, and its value will be value, for example. And now if I run it again, Shift F10 as a shortcut, so as you can see that it has a category message, and in here it automatically created an ID, and against that ID it's stored a key value pair. You can store any structure of data here. For example, you can store a user, like you have created a push, and then you can have key, for example, name, and its value could be and then again you have another child. You can have another child. For example, you can store this ID, string ID is equal to or you can do is you can create a hash map to store a kind of a user. For example, if I create a hash map here, it's going to be of type string, and the other thing I could have any kind of object. So I'm going to create an object, or you can just go and create a class for user, for example, new Java class, and for example you can name it user, and I'm going to have something here, string name, string, for example, father name, string marks. So this is my user, so I can have a type of user here. So next hash map is equal to new hash map, and then I can add the information in this hash map by just key value pairs. Hash map dot put is a function to store information. For example, key will be for example user1, and against that I'm going to create a user here, new user, and its name is going to be Zishan, father name, and then its marks are also in string, so I'm going to do that, and we haven't created any constructor yet, so let me create that. Alt insert on and to create instructor, and just select each and every one from here. So we have created a user and information, and then we can duplicate this 1 or 2 times and just change the user to user 2 and user 3, but the information is same, and we can set this whole stuff to this object. For example, we can set hash map here, and we can have here, for example, user. So now we can, I just run it. And one thing I should tell you, that if you create the same information again, it will override that. It will not create it again. It is not going to repeat that information. Oh, there is a exception, and what's that? No properties to serialize found on class user. Let me check what this says here. Okay, so we need to change our users to public so that it can access them. Control Z. Just run it again. Oh, sorry, I've run it on wrong device. So this is run here, and if I go to my console, and you can see that it has created a new, and in here it created users, and for user 1 there is this information, and for user 2 there is this information, the same one for user 3. So this way you can easily store your information in Firebase database. What we can also do is we can also get this information back. So for that, let me go through the documentation, and you can get that by adding a value event listener on the my reference. So for example, my reference is reference dot add value event listener, new value event listener, and just hit enter on it. So this snapshot is going to return us the information. So I'm going to just print it out. By casting it into string, data snapshot dot to string. So here you can see that this data snapshot has a key that is message and a value, and that is going to be, and that next it has users, and users have name and all that information. So that's it for this video. In the next few videos we will continue work on this, and then we will move on to create our very awaited WhatsApp app. So that, thanks for watching this video. I'll catch you up in the next few videos.